When people talk about motivation, it kind of breaks my heart, to be honest, because it's like, I know that it's not going to happen in the way in which the movies build it up to be. It's not like, that's just not real life. Motivation is not necessarily real life.
It's really tapping into the purpose and the intention underneath what you're doing, rather than this, I'm gonna go do the thing, I'm gonna pump myself up, and then it lasts for 5 minutes, and then you're like, well, that was cute, now what? Hey everybody, it's Bianca.
And this is Amelia.
And welcome to another episode of Evolve Ventures, where we are helping growth-minded humans evolve by breaking one limiting belief at a time. We hope you enjoyed last week's episode 186, The Key to Start Feeling More Confident. In today's episode, number 187, Motivation Monday, this is why you feel a lack of motivation. We're going to be diving into some of the biggest reasons that I've seen and that Amelia and I have both seen just in our personal lives and, you know, in working and coaching with people about, you know, why does this lack of motivation come up? What even is it? And what are people actually even talking about when they're talking about a lack of motivation? So I have some stuff prepared that I'm excited to dive into. So, one of the things that I think a lot of people get this misconception about just right off the bat is what even is motivation. Like, I'm sure you've heard this so often. People are like, well, I'm just not motivated. I didn't have motivation to do it, or I didn't have motivation to do this, or I didn't have motivation to do that. And from what I've seen and from what there's been this like motivation revolution where I think people are just waiting for this, like, honestly, like, I think people are waiting for this massive surge of emotion and this pump up, like this Rocky movie moment where it's just like he finally gets it and he breaks through and now I'm gonna go run through the stairs and or whatever run and do all right this stuff. Yeah, you're gonna run through the stairs. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
Envisioning this and like, yeah, heck yeah.
That's what we think motivation is. It's the pump up. And I think because like, how many movies are like that, where it's like that one person just said that one thing and they finally got the motivation that they needed to just like do whatever it was, and it's like the music's like da 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 da, like that's a song that's in my head right now. And I think because of that, there's this really significant like misconception about what motivation even is. And I think number one, that is why people are struggling to feel motivated, because there's this misunderstanding of what it even is and what it's supposed to feel like. Have you noticed that? Like, I'm sure you've noticed that
all the time. Like it's interesting because I was actually speaking with one of my family members, and they'll remain unnamed, but they were talking to me and saying how they were going to get ready, like, and because it's their milestone birthday, they're actually going to try to like put together a fitness plan, and they're actually going to try to like be consistent. And their goal was like 80 days. And it's like, yeah, I just need the motivation to do it. It's not like it's that hard. And it's like, ask me the question if that person has done anything different. You know, it hadn't. Nothing's changed. And I think that what happened in, you know, this individual's life is that they were kind of waiting for that Rocky moment of like the motivation. And there's just a giant, like you said, like misbelief around motivation in general, and how our bodies work and how our brains work and how our psyches work. And it makes me sad because when I hear people around this topic and talking about motivation, like there's a lot of low awareness around here, like just being in all honesty. And I think that I'm a big fan, being someone who is more of a discipline fan, like that's my word for this year is discipline. And it's like, it's not a sexy word. It's not fun, but like it's gotten me a lot further in the journey of like the perceived motivation journey, where like every single day I'm constantly showing up. And when people talk about motivation, it kind of breaks my heart, to be honest, because it's like, I know that it's not going to happen in the way in which the movies build it up to be. It's not like, that's just not real life. Motivation is not necessarily real life, you know?
I mean, we've talked about this. I've talked about this before. There's 4 ways to build confidence.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 ways to build a sense of self-worth. One of them, the lowest performing one, is that pump up. It's that body physiological change, which I think people are thinking about when they're thinking of motivation.
Right.
It does work. Like having music that excites you, or being in an environment that like pumps you up, or being around other people that are like doing the thing that you want to do. It does pump you up. It does work, but it doesn't last. It's not sustained. And I think what people are missing, and what they're really looking for, which was the name of our first show, is their why power.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that you need some pump up. It's not that you need some like razzle dazzle moment. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it.
I love when you
like
say
this,
razzle dazzle.
It's
like a word that is the cutest.
It's not like you need this massive transformative moment. I think what people are really missing, is the why underneath the thing that they're doing.
Definitely.
Like whatever the thing is that you're trying to do, that you're telling yourself you need motivation for, why did you set it up in the first place? Why is it that you want to do that thing? What does it mean to you? Yeah. What are you going to get as a result of that? What is it going to mean about you and your future? And what is your future going to look like as a result of you getting the thing? It's really tapping into the purpose and the intention underneath what you're doing, rather than this, I'm gonna go do the thing, I'm gonna pump myself up, and then it lasts for 5 minutes, and then you're like, well, that was cute, now what? Now another hour goes by and you still don't want to do the thing that you said you were gonna do. So that's the number one for me. Number two, and we actually talked about this in one of the most recent Out of the Muds. You actually proposed this, so I'm stealing your idea.
Get it?
You're trying to motivate yourself with things that don't really motivate you. You're using incorrect motivators.
Yeah.
So like,
I find that a lot with people.
Yeah.
They're just scraping. You know what? I feel like people are so afraid of actually defining their why power that they'll use the supplement of this to like be like, oh, I want to get motivated because of this. Whatever that motivator is, doesn't stick with them for long. So it fizzles out. You know, it has an expiration date. Not to cut you off, but.
No, that's helpful. I mean, how many people do you know that are like, I'm going to go to the gym so I can go to the beach on this one day? It's like, okay, how badly do you want to go to the beach on that day? Is that really going to sustain you enough to be able to do the things you need to do for the next 6 months? Is that really the best motivator? Or like, in order to get a car, in order to get the house, in order to get this external thing that you probably don't even want, but your social circle is making you feel bad about it, that you don't have it, but they all do, or society or whatever. What are you actually, to tie into number one, what are you actually inspired by? If you want something, if there is something that you're chasing, if there is something that you know in your heart you really want, why do you want it? What's a better reason than, well, I'm 30 and I should have this type of house already, and I should be married already, and I should have the 2 kids, and I should have this, and I should have that, and this is what life is supposed to look like at this age. Is it? Or is it just this narrative that we've been following for so long that doesn't fit anymore? Or that doesn't fit for you?
Right. A lot of people get in that trap, though. I've been there. Not for long, but like it's a lot easier. I'll just say this. It gets a lot easier when you shift the motivation or the inspiration into the external world. What do I mean by that? It's a lot easier to like have the carrot at the end of the stick, because in many ways our brains are programmed for that. It's a lot harder to go inwardly and say to yourself, get that clarity, work for that clarity. It's a lot harder to work for clarity than it is to say, I want that shiny car, that Ferrari looks good. It's a lot harder to go inwardly and say, I woke up in a new Bugatti. It's a lot more difficult to get clear on what your values are and be honestly get clear on what drives you internally, like what your internal motivators are. Like if you put the ego aside and what other people care about. I was having a call with a coaching client earlier this week, and we were talking about this, like extrinsic motivators versus intrinsic motivators. And from the frame of what you said earlier around the definition, it's like, oh, I understand. I've never really had, this person hasn't really gotten clarity on what the external purpose is in their world. And this person is wired for that. But yet because they lack clarity as to like what externally, and they went to like, I shared with them, I was like, honestly, like I get out of bed every single morning, i.e. what people would call motivation, right? Because some people don't want to, sometimes I don't want to get out of bed. Like this morning, I was just like, oh,
no, man. No, man.
We
Not
sometimes
for
have
it.
those days where like we're human too, right? And I have those days fewer, like I would say fewer statistically speaking. Why? Because my why power, my internal intrinsic motivator is like, I get out of bed super excited to be able to help people. There are massive amount of people struggling in mental illness. There are massive amount of people that are struggling and trying to like break whatever limiting belief they have. There are so many people that feel so disempowered in their life. And like, I am such an empowered woman. Like I want to just sprinkle that pixie dust onto everyone, and I want to help everyone in that regard. And that's what pulls me out in the every single day. And like, it like shook him. It's like, and he's gone back to that a couple times and he's like, I don't have that. And here's the thing. It's not that we don't lack that. We might lack that in our current state because we haven't defined it, but we don't have that yet because we haven't defined what our internal motivators are. We let the external world define that so much for us. And that's why when we have these conversations with people, it's like, it's tough for us, honestly, because you and I have clarity internally, and we've worked on that. And a lot of people in the Evolve community, like I like want to give them a shout out because they're like willing to work on that because they realize the value, the benefit. So like on a Monday, what are you looking forward to? What internally, you had said earlier in the episode, be like, what is your heart? Like, what does your heart want? What pulls you forward? It's a pull, not a push. And that's a big difference there, Yeah.
Final thoughts?
I would say, okay, I'm going to go mini hardcore, Amelia, for a hot second.
Ooh,
and
let
then
it out.
Back.
Let it out.
I want to encourage everyone to look at the word discipline. It's a noun. And I want to encourage everyone to try to see where you in your life could swap out the word motivation for discipline. So like even like in your thoughts of like, I'm not feeling motivated right now. Even in that thought of I'm not feeling disciplined right now. If you look up the definitions between the two, that one cognitive reframe can help you see where maybe you can make more progress in your life, where you currently are struggling to. I know that that's helped for me. I know that that's helped for different clients. So my final thought is to look up the word discipline and realize that it's just a state. It's a state that you're in when you feel as though you're lacking motivation. It's not a state when you feel as though you're lacking discipline, because it's already deeply built within you. You're just not tapping into that yet.
I will add my final takeaway on top of that. If you're not feeling disciplined and you can't tap into that, it's probably because you're doing the wrong things. Because if you are doing the things that actually make you feel good, the things that bring you that fulfillment and bring you that joy and bring you that happiness, it'll be a lot easier to be disciplined in it.
Truth.
It doesn't make discipline easy, right? Discipline is not easy. It sucks. But you'll have more reason to do it. So like my weight cut right now. I want a Big Mac so bad. I don't know why, but like I've been craving it so bad, just like McDonald's, and I want a whole cheese pizza and curly fries to my face. I do. I do. So bad. So bad. But I have a deeper reason for why I'm doing this. It's not about the body for me. It's about what the body means. It's about me for so long, not being able. It's not that I wasn't capable. It's just I let things like derail me. Other times when I tried to do a weight cut, when I tried to lose weight, and now I'm tapped into that. Like I'm tapped into remembering how bad it felt every time I would fall off and the things I would say to myself about myself. And I'm so tapped into that now. And I want to prove to myself I can do it. Like I want to get to the end of this and have that sense of massive pride of, oh my God, like I did it. I did it. And I'm closer to my dream body now because of it.
I love that you brought the pride in, because that's so huge. That pride comes with discipline. Pride does not come with motivation.
No, motivation's bull. It doesn't work. The pump up does not work. It will not last. It is a component, right? It changes your physiological state, which if we want to get scientific and the nitty gritty, it does change stuff in your brain. But that's not going to rewire your conditioning, which the action component will. But if you're doing the wrong thing, it is going to feel like you got to continuously motivate yourself because you don't want to do it.
The short fix versus a long fix.
All right, we got to wrap this one up. So what is your episode suggestion?
Episode suggestion is 181, How to Finally Feel Good Enough. And I chose that one for everyone that's on this path because I find that a lot of people that are constantly seeking motivation rather than seeking the skill of discipline are people who struggle to feel good enough. What about you, B?
Mine is number 1. Why power?
Gosh.
And
that
oldie.
is a trip back to Old Town.
Y'all, so today is Monday, the 1st, which means that we are 3 days away from our first ever Evolve Ventures annual group coaching. If you want to start working through that needing motivation because you're not actually happy and you need the pump up to get yourself through the day, if you are someone who is so sick and tired of not feeling good enough, of not feeling like your life matters and has purpose and like you're good enough as a human being and can have the things that you want, this group coaching is for you. Amelia and I really both know what it's like. I think me a little bit more than Amelia, in all honesty, but we know what it's like to be in that place in your life where it's like, why bother? I'm just going to go through the day. It's just going to be, the same thing every day and nothing's going to change and I'm not going to change it because I can't. So what's the point? I was there and it really took me being around other amazing people having coaches and mentors and guides to help me get out of that. And that's exactly what this group coaching program is. It's a group of other people who are going through things that you are, and 2 guides, Amelia and I, who can really help you get through that and have the support of a team there with you going through it too. So there's still a couple spots left. And if you plug in the code Evolve Listener at checkout, you will get 30% off. We have payment plan options. We have all these different ways for you to get involved that make it as easy, inexpensive, and risk-free as possible. So if this is something that feels right for you, maybe you're a little scared, maybe it's like, oh, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have this, I don't have that. If all of that's coming up, but there's like that pull in you of like, this sounds like a good idea, reach out to Amelia and I, and we'll give you some more information. But if you're sold and you know in your heart of hearts that this is the right choice for you, the link is in the episode notes. So we hope to see you there. And we will talk to you all soon.
Bye everyone.